The vortex of the universe, the world, reality, is not what it seems. Hey everyone, stop scrolling right now and really pay attention, because what you're about to hear is not just another motivational speech, not just philosophy for intellectuals, not just some trippy speculation to pass the time. It's a direct, unflinching, hour-plus confrontation with the single most mind-shattering, life-altering, identity-dissolving truth that almost every human being spends their entire existence running from, denying, or never even suspecting. The vortex of the universe, the world, reality, is not what it seems. Right now, as these words are hitting your eyes and entering your mind, there is already a reaction happening inside you. Maybe it's curiosity. Okay, this sounds intriguing. Let's see where this goes. Maybe it's skepticism. Another conspiracy-style title, probably pseudoscience or woo-woo nonsense. Maybe it's irritation. Why is this so long? I don't have time for this. Maybe it's fear. If reality isn't what it seems, then what the hell is it? What does that mean for me, for my life, for everything I thought was solid? Maybe it's excitement. Finally, someone is saying what I've always felt but couldn't name. That reaction, whatever flavor it takes, is not random. It is the vortex responding. It is the protective mechanism of the illusion kicking in, trying to keep you safely inside the story you've been told since you were a child. The story that says the world is solid, predictable, material, separate from you, governed by cause and effect, made of atoms and forces in empty space, and ultimately meaningless beyond what you can achieve, own, consume, or control in your short, fragile lifetime. But what if that entire story, the story of classical physics, of separate self, of linear time, of objective reality out there waiting for you to observe it, is the greatest, most useful, most comforting, and most dangerous lie humanity has ever collectively agreed to believe? What if the universe is not a dead machine made of inert matter spinning in cold emptiness? What if it is alive, intelligent, self-organizing, holographic, fractal, dreamlike, participatory, conscious at every level, and you are not a tiny, accidental, isolated speck lost inside it. You are an inseparable, essential expression of it, a temporary focal point through which the whole infinite process is experiencing, exploring, and knowing itself? In this extremely long, completely unfiltered, no rush, no summaries, no bullet points exploration, we're going to stay with this single explosive idea for as long as it takes to really let it land. No shortcuts, no easy answers, no feel-good platitudes, no 3 steps to enlightenment. We're going to walk slowly, deliberately, layer by layer through the hard science that has already shattered the classical worldview. Quantum entanglement, superposition, non-locality, the observer effect, retro, causality, delayed choice experiments, Bell's theorem violations. The neuroscience that proves your brain doesn't passively receive reality, but actively constructs you and the world, moment by moment, from raw data you never consciously access. The ancient mystical and philosophical traditions that described this vortex thousands of years before quantum mechanics existed, Vedanta's Maya, Buddhism's emptiness, Gnosticism's demiurge, Plato's cave, indigenous shamanic realities. The modern cons, schismus researchers and philosophers who are mathematically and experimentally proving that consciousness is not a byproduct, but the ground of being. David Bohm's implicate order, Donald Hoffman's interface theory, Bernardo Kastrup's analytic idealism, Carl Friston's free energy principle, Anil Seth's controlled hallucination, the mind-bending implications for everyday life. Free will is largely illusory. Death is a transition, not an end. Suffering is optional when identification with the SEP, arrate self, ends. Manifestation is real but not the egoic law of attraction version. Real stories of people who accidentally or intentionally glimpsed beyond the veil, near-death experiences, high-dose psychedelic awakenings, deep meditative breakthroughs, spontaneous non-dual realizations, and never live the same way again, and, most crucially, the direct, practical, no BS invitations to test this in your own direct experience right now, to question the voice in your head that is narrating this very sentence, to see through the perceptual matrix your brain has built to keep you safe, and to step, or fall, into a way of being where reality becomes alive, luminous, meaningful, compassionate, infinitely creative, and strangely familiar, like coming home to something you always knew but forgot. If that inner voice is already screaming, "This is too much, this is dangerous, this is exciting, this is nonsense, turn it off," or even "keep going," good. That voice is the first layer of the vortex responding. Stay with me. Don't believe anything I say. Don't reject anything I say. Just look. Just listen. Just observe what is happening in your own consciousness as these words move through it. That's where the truth is. Not in my words, but in your direct seeing of what they point to. Hit like right now if you're willing to question the most basic assumptions you've ever made about who you are and what this world is, and drop a comment below. Right at this exact moment, what is the voice in your head saying about these words? Is it agreeing, arguing, bored, afraid, curious, angry, hopeful? Be brutally honest. No one is judging. Your answer is already the vortex showing itself. Let's begin. Let's begin exactly where the illusion is strongest, with the assumption that what you see, hear, touch, taste, smell, and think is what is actually real. You open your eyes in the morning and the world appears solid, stable, external, independent of you. The alarm clock is out there, on the nightstand. Your body is here, under the covers. The ceiling is above you. The floor is below you. Time seems to move forward in a straight line from past to present to future. Cause reliably precedes effect. Objects continue to exist with definite properties even when you're not looking at them. You are a fixed, separate eye located somewhere behind your eyes, looking out through two holes in your skull at a world that was already here long before you were born and will keep going long after you're gone. This is the default human operating system. The Newtonian, materialist, dualistic, egocentric worldview we all inherited. It's incredibly useful. It lets you cross the street without getting hit by cars, pay your bills, raise children, build civilizations, launch rockets, perform surgery, write code, cook dinner. Without this interface, survival would be impossible, but usefulness is not the same as truth. This worldview is a survival interface, a user-friendly simplification, a controlled hallucination designed by evolution to maximize fitness, not to reveal ultimate reality. Physics has known this for more than a century. Quantum mechanics didn't just add a few weird footnotes to Newton. It tore the entire classical picture to shreds and showed us that the universe we experience is not the universe that exists. Let's start with the double-slit experiment, because it's the simplest, most repeatable demonstration that reality is not what it seems. You fire electrons, or photons, or even large molecules in more recent versions, at a barrier with two narrow slits. If you don't try to measure which slit each particle goes through, you get an interference pattern on the detection screen behind the barrier, a series of bright and dark bands that can only be explained if each particle behaves like a wave passing through both slits simultaneously, interfering with itself. That's wave behavior. But if you place a detector at one slit to see which path the particle took, the interference pattern instantly disappears. You get two clean clumps on the screen, as if the particles went through one slit or the other like little bullets. The act of measurement, or more precisely, the possibility of obtaining which path information, collapses the wave function. The particle chooses to be a localized particle rather than a delocalized wave. This is not a metaphor. This is not consciousness magically reaching out and forcing reality to behave. This is the universe telling us that at the fundamental level, reality does not have definite properties until it is measured or interacted with in a way that extracts information. The world is not out there, with pre-existing attributes waiting for you to discover them. It is potentiality waiting to be actualized through interaction. The vortex is undecided until something, measurement, observation, decoherence, interpretations vary, forces a decision. Now, make it even stranger. In the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, first proposed by John Wheeler, later carried out in labs many times, the decision to measure which path or to erase which path information is made after the particle has already passed the slits and is on its way to the screen. And yet the past behavior changes retroactively. If you choose to erase the which path information, you get interference, wave behavior, even though the particle should have already decided its path. If you choose to keep the which path information, you get particle behavior. The future choice reaches back and determines the nature of the past event. Time is not a one-way arrow. Causality is not strictly linear. The universe is not a movie playing forward frame by frame. It is a holistic, timeless pattern where past, present, and future are entangled and co-determined. Wheeler called this the participatory anthropic principle. The universe requires observers to bring it into concrete existence. The vortex is participatory. You are not watching a pre-recorded film. You are co-authoring the script in real time. Now let's bring this closer to home, into your own skull. Neuroscience has shown that your brain does not passively receive the world like a camera taking snapshots. It actively constructs your experience using predictive processing, Carl Friston, Bayesian inference, and top-down models. Vision is 80 to 90% prediction. Your brain is constantly generating hypotheses about what should be in your visual field based on past experience, expectation, and context, and it only updates the model when prediction error occurs. Color is not out there. Wavelengths of light are out there. Your brain invents the experience of red, blue, green. Sound is not out there. Air pressure waves are out there. Your brain invents pitch, timbre, music. The sense of your body as here and the world as out there is a boundary your brain draws. The feeling of now is a construction. The sense of a continuous, stable eye watching the show is a construction. Anil Seth calls conscious perception a controlled hallucination. Donald Hoffman calls perception an interface evolved for fitness, not truth, like the desktop icons on your computer that bear no resemblance to the actual code running underneath. The vortex is the code. The world you experience is the desktop. You are not seeing reality. You are seeing a fitness-optimized user interface designed to keep the organism alive long enough to reproduce. So who is the user sitting at the desktop? Who is the I watching the icons? Krishnamurti would immediately point out that there is no separate watcher. The watcher is the watched. The thinker is the thought. The voice in your head that is currently narrating your reaction to these words. This is interesting. This is scary. This is too much. This is bullshit. Is not a permanent self watching the thoughts. It is thought pretending to be a separate observer so it can feel safe, continuous, in control. When you look closely, that I has no substance. It is a bundle of memory, image, word, sensation, reaction, identification, all arising and passing in awareness. Awareness itself has no voice, no story, no center. It is silent, spacious, luminous, ever-present, unchanging. It was there when you were born. It is there now. It will be there when the body dies. It is not yours. It is not personal. It is the ground of being, the screen on which the movie of you and the world is projected. The vortex is awareness dreaming itself into form, then pretending to be a separate character inside the dream. This is not nihilism. This is not nothing is real, so nothing matters. This is the opposite. When the illusion of the separate self collapses, love is revealed, not personal, conditional love, but the love that is the very substance of existence. Compassion arises spontaneously because there is no other to be separate from. Fear loses its grip because there is no fixed me to lose anything. Joy is not dependent on conditions because joy is what is left when conditions are seen as empty appearances in the dream. Creativity flows freely because there is no self to protect or prove. Action becomes effortless because there is no one doing it, only doing happening. Real people have woken up to this. A woman in her 40s, after decades of crippling anxiety and depression, sat in silence one evening and suddenly saw the anxious voice as just thought, not her. She stopped believing it. The anxiety never returned in the same way. A man in recovery from alcoholism watched the craving thought without fighting it or believing it was him. The craving lost its power. A high-powered executive burned out from ambition saw the "I must succeed or I'm worthless" story as just a story. He stepped down, moved to a small town, and found a peace he never knew existed. A veteran with PTSD saw the flashbacks as memory images, not present reality. The terror dissolved. These are not miracles. They are the natural consequence of seeing through the illusion. So, look now, right now. Stop reading for 10 seconds. Close your eyes. Listen to the voice in your head. Don't fight it, don't believe it, don't analyze it, just listen. I'm bored. This is too long. Is this true? I should be doing something else. This scares me. This excites me. See how it arises and falls without your conscious permission? That is the vortex. That is the dream. The moment you stop claiming it as mine, stop identifying with it as me, it loses its power. It becomes just noise passing through awareness. Awareness itself has no voice. It is silent, spacious, luminous, ever-present. It is not yours. It is not personal. It is the ground. The universe is looking at itself through a temporary lens called you. This is the invitation. Stop believing the story your mind is telling you. Stop believing you are a separate person inside a separate body, inside a separate world. Look. See. The vortex is looking at itself. And when it sees that, it laughs. It cries. It loves. It rests. It is. If this long immersion shook something loose in you, give it a massive like. It helps this truth reach others still trapped in the illusion. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more unfiltered dives into what is actually real. In the comments, tell me honestly, right now, what is the voice in your head saying about these words? Or what part of reality is not what it seems, feels most alive or terrifying to you? No need to be clever. Just observe and share. Your honesty is the crack where light gets in. Thanks for staying with this. Until next time, keep looking. The vortex is waiting for you to recognize yourself.